Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. We have a really fun special edition today, and it's called How Did Great Singers Become Great Singers? But before I get to that, I want to do a special thank you to my notification squad. You guys rock. In fact, let me pull this a little closer to myself so I can say hi to some people. Wait, I'm actually going to move this over to the side so you can't see it in my camera view. Sorry about that. Anyway, we've got Olivia, Wenya. Hey Olivia, how you doing, sweetheart? India's showing up again. Alicia, okay, thanks. Olivia again. Joseph Salona, and Olivia's from Denmark. Okay, we're gonna say Olivia from Denmark. Okay, we got you. London Star, hey London Star, how you doing? And come on, keep them rolling here. Alicia, Sunil from What's Up, kids? Tracy Jackson, hi Tracy from the UK. By the way, a special shout out to Tracy. Tracy so sweetly manages my some of my Facebook stuff, and she's just an unsung hero. So I just want to say a special thank you to Tracy. You're awesome. Logan here from Florida. We've got Florian from Reunion Island, Alexander Petrovic. We've got Tian Nam from Vietnam. That's cool. Gosh, I want to go there too. I heard Vietnam is really beautiful. We've got Facebook people chiming in. And today, as we're getting started, I want to keep them going so people see where you guys are coming in. I've got Dara from Ireland and Dad. But I've got a special guest. That's what the extra chair here is for. And I'm going to keep it a surprise until that person shows up. But as I said, today's subject matter is how did great singers become great singers? 9 facts, okay? 9 facts. And why I want to broach this subject specifically today is because I have someone here that's going to also be able to share sort of their testimony and their story, and it won't be just mine. And I think it'll be a little breath of fresh air for you guys. But I also want to say that you guys already know I'm doing a whole series on what makes this singer great, right? And so I thought it would be kind of cool to break that down specifically here in a live stream. So now, most people still, the 99% of the masses of people believe that you have to be born a singer to be a singer. And to some degree, I mean, that's true to the extent that it's a lot easier for them to be singers than us guys like myself that had to actually work at it, okay? Very, very important point. But I'm personally myself, I'm proof that that's just not the case, because as you guys know, I want to share a little bit more of my story, guys, because I know I've shared it a couple times, so for you that have heard it, just hang in there for a minute. So when I first started out, I played an ukulele at the age of 6 for a TV show, and the song I think was called I Wish I Was an Army Man or something like that, and it was a show called Rat Patrol, and it was in the 60s, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was around 69, 70, somewhere right in there, those are the years, and I had this old ukulele that was in my parents' attic from an uncle that had died or something, left it up there, and so as I was playing this ukulele, of course I'm 6, so what do I know, right? But I fell in love with what became later the guitar. And music really, I mean, other than belting out, I wish I was an army man, I wish I was an army man, right? Instead of the voice of that belting it out, instrumentation fascinated me. So now I did, start singing a little bit about age of 9, something like that, just to kind of dabble in it, but nothing serious. And all the way up until I was about 19 years old, I really didn't take my voice seriously. Now let me give you a little bit more clarity on the backdrop of what that looked like. I know I've said these quick phrases before, but I haven't really gone into any detail. So around age 15, I formed my first band, okay, 15, and all the players in the band were a lot older, 17, 18, 19, and so forth. I was the guitar player, and up around age 16, 17, I formed a second band. That band was called Revival. Now in that band, there was 3 female vocalists, and then another guitar player, a bass, a drummer, and a keyboard player. And we played at a lot of good-sized venues, believe it or not. Some big churches, some big retreats, some big halls, some prisons, and some things like that. And one of the members of the band convinced the rest of the band that I wasn't good enough to be in the band. This is a straight up story. Now, some of you that have seen my testimony can, corroborate this. Anyway, and so he tried to kick me out of my own band. And I was like, he basically said, we love your acoustic guitar playing. It's awesome. But when it comes right down to, playing lead guitar and that's the only contribution you really bring to the band. And I did write all the songs. So it's kind of funny you would say that. But he said, we found another lead guitar player, and we really think it's time that we bring this other guitar player on named Dan. And, you can warm up for us, but as far as we're concerned, we really think it's time to move on. And I thought about it, and I didn't say anything at first, but I got really frustrated, and I said, well, I book all the shows. I wrote most all of the songs. I have the PA. I own the public address system. And I'm the one paying for the majority of the rehearsal space. So I said to myself, okay, I'll tell you what. You guys can do that, but I'm taking my ball and I'm going home and I'm taking my PA in the rehearsal space and everything else. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe there's something we can work out. Maybe we could pay you for the PA over time from the shows that you booked, right? And I just thought it was nonsense. So, people that throw down on you and cast rash judgments on you, especially you guys out there, maybe your parents or a relative or a friend that say you suck and you're not good enough. Now, this was guitar. Guitar's my first instrument. For those of you that really know me, I'm a very accomplished guitar player. So with that said, as time went on, probably age 16, 17, I got really tired of depending on the singers. They were just a pain in the butt. And it was like, gosh, every time I turned around, they were the golden microphone. They wouldn't lift any equipment. They'd show up late or not at all. They'd be disgruntled about something. Nothing was good enough, blah, blah, blah. So I thought, how hard could this singing thing really be, right? So I set out to start to teach myself how to sing. This is really important, guys. I had no singing experience. I wasn't that good at all. Really, I didn't even know if I was good at all. And then I started taking some vocal lessons. And with those vocal lessons, you've all heard my story. I took from a lot of people that was very frustrating and very confusing over time, and I didn't know what to believe, and things just weren't working. And I finally, around the age of 18, pushing 19, I said, I guess I'm just not cut out to be a singer. This is age 18. So think about, for you younger people who think, gosh, I'm 17, am I too old to learn how to sing? Or you in your 50s, 60s, even 70s, am I too old to learn how to sing? The answer is absolutely not. The voice is a group of muscles and can be, strengthened like any group of muscles in your body. So I was, contemplating, okay, I'm just going to stick with guitar. I know I'm good at that. And I joined my first professional band when I was 19 years old. I joined the band as a rhythm guitar player. I didn't join the band as a singer. I didn't join the band as a songwriter. I joined the band as a rhythm guitar player, 19. And in the course of that band, the band had the leader of the band was kind of a tough guy to get along with. And so he also, as you guys know, wanted to, hey, wait, before I go on to this, I have my special guest. This is Sarah Loera. Here she is. She's got her coffee in hand. And
morning, guys.
She's joining the party. So here, let me move over here. You can come over here.
Is it okay that I have coffee in the studio?
Yeah, sure. Just don't spill it.
Once, okay.
You'll have to clean it up with a toothbrush. Anyway, so with that said, as I joined this band, they burned through a lot of singers, and the singers were really, really high-range singers, and I just couldn't foot that bill. I mean, I tried and I tried. So once again, I set out to take a lot more vocal lessons from some very, very famous vocal coaches. And again, I was getting conflicting information, and I didn't know, what to believe, and nothing seemed to be working with my voice. And over the course of about 2 years of taking voice lessons from a lot of different teachers, some things finally started to click. And as fate would have it, when a lead singer would leave this band that I was in, they would kind of push me up to the front to sort of assume that position. Now, I wasn't qualified and I couldn't sing all these high notes, but what it did was it set me on fire, and I set out to learn how to sing these notes and not just be relegated to the range and the pitch that I'm in. So today, or actually this week, I've been with my lovely student Sarah, and we've been recording some more kick butt tunes, so you're going to be seeing those real soon. But I'm glad you walked in right at this moment, because this wasn't rehearsed, by the way. She just happened to come in right when I was talking. Share your story, how you became a singer.
Oh, gosh. Well, let's see. So I've always been an entertainer. It's in my blood. When I was a little kid, I was one of those super hyper kids who was always trying to perform for everybody. Always wanted to, show off the instrument I was playing at the family gatherings and stuff like that. And I actually wanted to be on Broadway when I was a kid. That was my dream, because, I saw the movie Annie, and I wanted to be, one of the orphans in the Annie musical. That was my thing. So, things were a little chaotic when I was growing up, a little instability and stuff like that. So we moved around a lot, and I was changing schools a lot. And I played flute when I was little, but I never took singing lessons as a kid. And I actually, I went through life. I did like a theater minor in college, and went on to Cal State Long Beach and decided that I should do something that is reliable and something, respectable. And I mean, not that music is not respectable, because it is.
No, it's not. Go ahead.
But that I should,
by
get a real
definition,
job.
it's rock and roll. Go ahead.
Okay, that's true. But so I thought I should do something, get a real job, right? Because obviously I would never be able to make any real money doing music. I mean, that's crazy. So I got a degree in communications and started working corporate jobs and stuff, and I was just miserable. And I'm like, man, this ain't it. I don't know what it is, but this ain't it. And in the meantime, I had always been involved in some sort of performing, some kind of band, even if it was just a garage band, that literally never left the garage, jamming in my friend's garage, every night on the weekends, stuff like that. So I was doing garage bands, 60s garage bands. I should probably explain that a little bit better. So there's like this whole kind of hipster movement in LA with like psychedelic 60s inspired bands. And I was really into that music and into that scene. And I was actually DJing a lot. And, I would collect records and 45s, like obscure 45s from the 60s. And was doing a lot of DJing and playing in these bands at places like the Bordello and stuff. I don't even think it's around anymore in LA. And I answered a casting call that was put out by this guy right here, and I got the gig. And
what was your job at that time?
Oh, I was bartending at that time. So I was making money as a bartender. I was bartending in downtown Huntington Beach at a place called Fred's. Yeah, I still love Fred's. They actually ask me back every summer to bartend, and sometimes I pick up shifts just for fun. But yeah, I was bartending at the time, and didn't really see music as a viable career option for me. But I knew I had some talent, and I knew I had the passion for it, and I knew that people responded to me when I was on stage. So
now let me stop real quick here. So for you guys out there that have seen Sarah's performances, I wish we had something from like the older days we could play and then see from then until now.
I'm glad we don't.
But the reason I'm just pausing here for a second is because first of all, Sarah applied herself. She didn't believe in herself that she could pull it off, and she applied herself. But a really important component of this is I think a lot of people are just kind of stuck thinking, well, I could never do X, right? And so it just takes that little push to go, well, what's stopping me from trying it? Like, what's stopping me from doing it? I don't have anything else to lose. Even if it's just, I want to do karaoke in the weekends. I want to sing for my church. I want to get the solo here. I want to do this play or this Broadway musical, or I want to join a band or whatever that is. So when I was doing this quote casting call, I had started a cover band called Ballroom Blitz, and I was looking for two things. It's going to sound kind of cheeky, but I was looking for eye candy, and I was looking for people I could teach how to sing. So I wasn't necessarily looking for top-notch talent, because I felt like I could actually bring that to the table, because I have taught a lot of musicians over the years how to sing, particularly backup in my bands. So I thought, well, I could teach these girls how to sing. I could be the main lead vocalist, and we could get some real high-end corporate cover gigs, which is exactly what I'd set out to do, and we did. So anyway, so Sarah shows up, and then go ahead. Sorry,
my brain isn't working yet. It's still really early.
I know she goes to bed really late. I don't go to bed as late as her.
Yeah. I woke up at 7:30 this morning. That's basically the crack of dawn for me.
Yeah. Or when she goes to bed.
Yeah, sometimes. So I joined the Ballroom Blitz band, and it was the first time I had ever done real singing. I mean, before then, I was just doing covers and singing and, like this kind of snotty punk rock style. And I never saw myself as a real singer, even though I knew, that I could sing. I never saw myself as, somebody who could sing a ballad or, sing, some real high energy, crazy rock song. I didn't see myself that way. I just saw myself more like a punker. And so I joined the band and started really working on my vocals with Ken. And just grew really, really fast. And I was really passionate about it, And it's kind of one of those things where, like Ken was just saying, you know, you look around and you see people that you know or people that you admire who are out there making their dreams come true in some way. And, you know, they're because they were able to think expansively and think outside of the box. And you say, you know what, if they can do it, if they can live their dreams, why can't I? You know, and I know I have the talent. It might not be at the point that I want it to be, but I think I can get it there. And I, you know, eventually, you know, and here I am.
The proof's in the singing.
The proof is in the singing.
But so the coolest thing about this for me is that you went from basically punk psychedelic singer to, and for those of you that don't know Sarah, I challenge you to go check out some of her stuff, to a world-class talent. Now, she probably still to this point, you know, would depose herself of that title, but it's really true. She's gone from that to this. Now, did it happen overnight? No, but she applied herself. Now, she went from Mastro's. I was able to get her connected with an agent in China, of all places, and so she did a circuit in China for over a year and a half, right? Something like that.
About a year and a half.
Yeah, and then she came back to the Americas, and then was also able to help her get a gig at a really high-end restaurant called Mastro's, and from that, she's been able to springboard and do a lot of other things. So I just want you guys to see personified living proof of someone. It's not just me talking about it. You guys can do this. I wanted you to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. This was unsolicited.
Just call me a horse.
Nay. I would never do that. But seriously though, because it's one thing for me to say it, and it's another thing for you guys to do it. So I wanted to kind of get to that. So I've got, you know, all this other stuff. By the way, all the way to working with guys like David Foster. We were laughing about that last night, and I was saying all the people that David Foster has produced that she's gotten a chance to work with. First, she wanted me to say Madonna. That's her love.
Don't you dare!
Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Christina Aguilera, Mary J. Blige, Andrea Bocelli, Michael Bublé, Peter Cetera, many people. So crazy privilege to do that.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And so, you know, and by the way, maybe not everybody has the hopes of that level of singing, and that's okay. Like, there's a lot of space in between all this stuff. You don't necessarily looking to, you know, dominate planet Earth with your voice, but there's a lot of fun things that we can do. Maybe just singing a song for a loved one, or just whatever that looks like. So, anyway, and I've heard naysayers discouraging people from singing, saying that you have to be born with the talent, and if you know. And I want to relate this to sports, okay? And I'm gonna bring her in on this in a second, but the reason I bring this up is because one of the qualities that Sarah had about her voice was she had used a lot of air, and was very much so more on the Stevie Nicks side of singing. Okay, her range. She didn't have a lot of range, didn't have a ton of power, a lot of airiness in the sound and whatnot. But she worked during the KTVA program. She worked how to get that bright timbre and how to get that range, how to get better pitch, control, stamina, and all those things. And then now she's pretty much sings whatever she wants to sing. Okay, again, it doesn't come easy. There's a lot of specific practice involved. But I'm going to relate this to a sport. So it's kind of like people say, well, if you're going to be a basketball player or a volleyball player, you've got to be tall, right? It's sort of like, you know, the picture, the stereotype that we put in our minds. But let me explain why that's not clear thinking, okay? First thing is, music and singing is not one-dimensional as a sport. Okay, it's not like you got to be tall to be a basketball player, you got to be tall to be a volleyball player, whatever it is. So that's the first thing. And by the way, not all NBA players are tall. Okay, there's some guys that are not that tall that are really great, and we know a few of them, right? But making that assumption is like saying the only definition of greatness for singing is to sing high, right? Tall, high, right? So if your whole definition or predisposition or presupposition of singing is, if I don't sing high, I'm not great, that's silly. And I'm going to explain this as we go. And after all, but that's exactly what singing is, a physical attribute, because it's the voice is, you know, got a certain muscle group, and being tall is a certain muscle group. But it's really one-dimensional to think of things that way. And there are high singers but let's go look at how many different kinds of singers there are. There are singers that sing high. There's great singers that sing low, you know, baby, you know, Barry White, you know, you've got Johnny Cash, I could go down this giant list of different people that sing low that have made an entire career out of singing low. Karen Carpenter. Stevie Nicks. Mm-hmm. Exactly, right. It was big time. So anyway, and then there's everything in between, okay? There are singers that sing loud, singers that sing soft. I mean, you've got Susan Tedeschi on the one spectrum, and you've got Sade on another spectrum, or Enya, or whomever. And they've all made phenomenal careers out of their style and what they've chosen to sing. There's singers that sing in this style, this language, whatever it is. And then there's different styles with even that. Singers that sing theater, opera, pop, rock, country, punk, whatever it is. And they're all very unique and they all have their place. So just be reminded that it's not as one-dimensional as some guy shooting hoop and playing a basketball. Now, in Sarah's case, what would you say that you went from the type of singer that you started out to be into the type of singer that you are now?
You mean the differences in my singing?
Yeah, I mean, have you adapted a lot of styles? Have you adapted a lot of, what have you said to yourself that you could see yourself doing songs you never thought of doing before?
Absolutely.
Like what?
Oh my gosh, like the Celine Dion stuff, the Whitney stuff, all that kind of stuff, like real singer stuff. It was, I love Marilyn Monroe, right? Mm-hmm. And her chip on her shoulder was always that, yeah, she was beautiful and everything, but she wasn't considered a real actress, and she wanted to be a real actress. And that's kind of how I felt. I was like, I got charisma, I got some swag, people like to see me on stage, jumping around. But I never felt like I was a real singer and a real musician. And yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I went from like barking out punk rock songs to singing Celine Dion tunes and singing these huge power ballads and stuff. And
rock tunes.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm singing stuff now that I would have never imagined that I would have sang back in the day. And even styles, like, back then, like say 10 years ago, I would have thought I was like way too cool, like to sing some of the stuff I do now. But the thing is that a lot of the stuff I sing now is the really vocally impressive stuff. And I would.
And wouldn't you also say that that's what's giving you the gig to be able to get paid professionally to sing?
Absolutely. And that's kind of what I'm known for is my versatility, and that's been a huge tool in my toolbox is my versatility.
Okay, so what changed then? You went from punk rock singer to giant ballad singer, rock singer. What did you do differently?
Well, I did the KTVA method, obviously.
Right.
So just really applying myself to that. And I actually also went back to school and studied music and just gigging night after night after night and figuring out what works for me vocally and what doesn't. And just hammering away at the KTVA method, several times per week. And just being dedicated and being passionate, it was kind of easy for me because I'm so passionate about music that it was just natural. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I would do it for free, but it's great that I get paid because it really forces you to level up because there's a higher expectation when people are giving you money to do something. So, the growth was huge. I would have never imagined 10 years ago that I would be where I am now. Never in a million years. Not a chance.
Okay, so now, last night, but by the way, none of this is pre-discussed, though we just touched on this last night before I asked her to come do this with me today. And I loved her comment because we've been talking about this for the last couple live streams. I said, and I'm just going to put it out to you right now. Now, you guys know my opinion on this, and I'll come alongside what she says first. And we didn't, again, this is not rehearsed or anything. What do you think makes a great singer?
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about this, and a lot of the singers that I love are not great singers. I mean, my favorite band since I was a little kid is the Rolling Stones. You take Mick Jagger. Does he have a lot of attributes of a great singer? Yes. Is he technically a great singer? Does he sing high? Does he have these long held out notes? No. So what I decided is the one thing that all great singers have in common is personal charisma and this vulnerability where they're able to let something inside of their soul out and people connect with it. I don't think it's...
By the way, I didn't pay her to say this, guys. This is her own volition. This is exactly what I've been talking to you guys about telling your story and about, you have a unique story to tell and you don't have to be Steve Perry to do it. And people need to hear what you've gone through in your life because your life is very unique and you might have gone through struggles maybe that other people are struggling with right now that they may think they're an island and that no one else could possibly be going through what they're going through. And maybe you have something you can contribute to making their life a little better, or even if it's just commiseration, they could go, wow, okay, I'm not the only one person going through this. So right. With that said, sorry, continue.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like just being vulnerable and really letting yourself be open to your audience, and if you think about it, I mean, what would you rather watch? A singer who's technically perfect and is a robot, or somebody who's not technically perfect but just lets it all out on stage? I mean, obviously you'd rather see the person who lets it all out because that's going to make you feel something. It's going to make you feel an emotion, a real a real emotion versus being impressed by somebody's technical skills.
Okay, but wait a minute. Hold on now. Ken Tamplin, you sitting there, you selling a singing course. It's called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. And all this time you're talking about all this technical stuff, and now you're telling me I don't have to be technical? Well, what did that do for you?
Well, being technical just takes you to a whole nother level. So then if you already have the charisma, then when you add that technical element, you are unstoppable. I mean, you are like a unicorn, man, because most people either have one or the other. They have the charisma, but they don't have the technique, so they don't have the longevity or, what have you. Or they are on the other side, they have the technical thing, but they don't have the charisma, they don't have the vulnerability. So if you combine those two things, I mean, you can take over the whole world,
And also, too, it increases your toolbox for getting to share your story in ways that go beyond the one-dimensional guy that shoots high or the one person that's only charismatic or, let's say, a cult of personality, in a sense. Mm-hmm. So what I like to do is I like to first think, okay, it's about the passion. It's about the desire and the drive. It's about telling my story. It's about being vulnerable and honest. It's about not caring what people think, even as much as
that's
we like.
the hard part.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is because people they're going to go at you because you're leaving yourself vulnerable. You're opening up your heart, and they can't wait to shoot their little fiery arrows at you. But let's remember that those people that are doing it are the miserable suckers that have nothing better to do in life than try to make other people as miserable as they are if they can. So, not that those things don't hurt when someone makes a derogatory comment about our art or who we are as people or sharing our story. But as I told you, like we talked about the mean tweets, when you've got, somebody like Brad Paisley sharing a song about how his stepfather came in when he was a kid and loved on him when he had no dad, and he turns into Brad Paisley, shares his story, and how many of us have gone through that, right? How awesome that is. It's funny, in Newport Beach, California, there's something called, it's actually in a little bit past Corona, Dave's Dolphin Safari. Okay, it's the coolest thing ever. You go out on this boat, and Dave's been around for 30 years, I think. Look it up, Dave's Dolphin Safari. It might be San Clemente. It's a little bit south of Newport. And been on it a couple of times. And I was looking to book some tickets online. And as I went online to book these tickets, he shows this glorious thing of these dolphins swimming around and jumping up around the boats. And there's hundreds of them, just a giant pod of dolphins. And I could not believe that there was these negative, pissy, derogatory comments about dolphins. I'm like,
who doesn't like dolphins?
It's like, this is exploitation. This is this. I'm like, if you can make a hate comment about dolphins, you got something else wrong with you, pal. Anyway, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to combine the passion, talking about singing, and then also share some things. So once the passion has been there, and once we've identified, I just got to have me a wildebeest, as they said. The Lion King, you have to see that part. Once we've determined that that's, where we just can't live without music, we just can't live without singing, regardless of our age, we can't live without sharing our story. There are things for me personally. Now, Ken, where's the 9 facts come in? Well, I'm just going to identify some things really quick. The first thing is, I love a singer with a good song. Okay, so let's get past the high hoop guy. I don't want to talk about range right now, or technicality, or calisthenics vocally. All right, we're going to get past the hoop. I love a singer with a good song. I love good tone and grit. Like, it's kind of lame. It's like, I'm Miss Piggy. I'm looking for a primitive mountain. Yep, is it going on? Or,
what a crazy man, help!
I know she has to put up with me all week long. Already has. Anyway, so it's good song, good tone and grit. A decent range, something that goes beyond 3 notes. That'd be nice, right? Good pitch, blues and soul. I love blues and soul. The ability to convey the story that they're looking to tell. And so I already said grit. And then also that combined with charisma. So those are 9 things. And interestingly, out of the major 6, none of them were directly related to range. Let me say this again in a different way. The TV shows that we've seen, whether it's American Idol or X Factor or whatever it is, have all led us to believe it's, whatever that note is, that makes greatness. And it can. It's show off, and you said you don't get paid for the low notes, you save the money note for the high end. But that's not the total sum of singing. And ironically, go ahead and for a minute and name me, again, she doesn't know I'm going to do this. Name me 5 and let's just say male singers so we can be consistent in the genre. 5 of your favorite male singers.
Oh gosh.
And I don't know who they are. I know Mick Jagger's one of them.
Mick Jagger's one of them. David Bowie, Iggy Pop. I like rock and roll. Favorite? Oh, well, Paul Rogers, obviously. Robert Plant.
Okay, stop. Okay, now those two may have gotten past the second audition in American Idol. But the first 3, and maybe her favorite singer, would not have.
Yeah.
Right? And we've talked a lot about this. So whatever these, gatekeeper judges that be, or, the guys with their arms crossed, the armchair critics, she had 3 that wouldn't pass, 2 that might have. Paul Rogers probably. Robert Plant might not have. He might not have passed because, he has a very unique thing. So anyway, out of the 6 things, I wanted you to think about a couple things. None of those things had to do with range except one when I said, I'd like to have some range in it. Just enough to accommodate the song, number 1. But what does that mean? What does it look like for you and me, right? So as we're going down this, what does this mean for us? Now, it's funny, as we've sung this whole week, and we did 7 tunes, even at this level, I've had to say to Sarah, I don't believe a word of it. Yeah. Why? Because we're learning new songs we may or may not ever have sung before. Mm-hmm. We're reading words on a page. And I'm in the control room and I'm saying, hey, you're hitting all the notes, but you're not.
Yeah, you're not selling me on it. I don't believe a word. He does say that. I don't believe a word you're saying.
Right. And then what changes?
You just have to go inside. You just have to go a little deeper. You have to internalize what you're saying. You have to really chew on it and really, really feel it. It's like acting.
Yeah. Believe what you're singing.
Yeah, believe what you're singing.
Be in the story with whatever that is. Yeah. And not just have words on a page, but literally be in the song. So anyway, and then I think this is pretty exciting because for those of you out there that have questioned this, how exciting is it, man, to go, gosh, I can do this. This is cool. Wow, this is like awesome. Because when I first started dabbling in it, again, with age 19, 20, and I started like hitting some notes and some things. Now they're back to the notes thing, but hitting some notes and some tone and some pitch and power and endurance. And I'm like, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can. I may not be as great as I want to be. So yeah, I started out just questioning myself. But I thought, you know what? I'm just going to put one foot in front of the other. Next foot in front of the other. What about Bob? Baby steps, right? This is how I'm going to do this. And before I knew it, I started picking off songs that I never dreamed I could be able to do. Now the consistency thing was tough, and there was a lot of elements that went into it. But with correct practice and correct information, over time it did come.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah, it is.
I just had that feeling this week, by the way.
Right, and we were just talking I said, could you see yourself doing anything else and being happy outside of what you're doing in music?
No.
Why though?
Because it gives my life a lot of meaning and a lot of purpose, and it makes me feel like I'm doing what I should be doing. I feel in line with my authentic self when I'm doing music.
Do you think that you're effectuating a change in people's lives, from people that write into you, that are inspired by you? Tell me a little bit about.
Yeah, I don't want to sound, cocky or anything, but I do get a lot of responses from people who, maybe they're lonely, or maybe they're feeling sad, or they're bored, or they need a distraction, and I offer that for them, and I make them feel good. That's the best feeling for me and that's why I love singing live as opposed to doing studio stuff. The studio stuff that we do is great because it reaches a huge audience, obviously. But the feeling of knowing that you're making somebody feel something and you're making them feel good and you're taking them out of whatever problems, they have. It's escapism. And everybody loves escapism, So I feel like I'm doing a good service to humanity with that. Yeah.
And enjoying it in the process, and getting to, it's kind of like, we're all, dare I use the term a fountain? And, this inspiration of getting to do what we do, we get poured into us from this inspiration of wanting to learn how to sing, and we get to be a fountain to pour this into other people. So it's a flowing stream. It's a river that's ever running. It's not stagnant water. I'm keeping this all to myself, and also too, some of my favorite singers are singers that when I say give back, I don't mean to their communities as though they stole something. I got to give it back, but it is in the context of. And by the way, you're going to laugh at me for saying this. One of my favorite female vocalists that does this and we've done did I do a Eurythmics tune with you with Annie Lennox yet?
No, not yet.
So I know I've done a couple Eurythmics songs, but Annie Lennox is a trippy gal because I don't love her voice. Now, ladies, don't hate me because she's mostly ladies, singer, but I don't love her voice. Anne Murray, I love her voice, by the way. But the way Annie Lennox just bleeds all over the paper when she sings this song, she just goes and just goes like this.
I don't recommend that, by the way.
And words come out. And then she starts singing. That's what Hemingway says. There's nothing to writing, just open up a vein. And that couldn't be more true for Annie Lennox. And someone like Anne Murray, she's got the Disney thing, but just what a fabulous singer and a great storyteller. So for me, I'm wowed by that part of it. Now, I want to get a little bit back to the technical aspect of this. Now, I've seen a lot of bands in my day, and I mean a lot of bands. And unfortunately, most of the singers that I've seen, and it could be Bruce Springsteen, it could be, David Bowie, it could be, way back in the day, Freddie Mercury. I mean, honestly, and he had a lot more technique working for him than others. There was an inconsistency. Now, they were such great showmen, and they pulled it off and got the audience eating out of the palm of their hand. But to be candid and to be honest, I was really disappointed in a lot of the inconsistency, and I know for a fact that if they had the technical aspect to support and buttress the charisma and the showmanship and all of the natural talent that they came along with, they would have been able to sustain their talent and not lose their voices like all the 80s rock guys did, or just whatever happens over time where people just lose range, they lose their ability to project, and all those things. So anyway, I want to open this up. I actually have a lot of notes here, but I didn't know Sarah was going to get to do this. We just talked about doing this last night. So I wanted to open this up for questions to Sarah. So guys, if you could, I know I see lots of things. He says, Ken, please react to Dimash, a transformation and so forth. I want to keep this specific right now to Sarah. So Sarah, I'm going to move this kind of over here so you can see it. So if you guys have a question for Sarah, I'd love to see what that is. And let's see if we got Jeff. Sarah, I sing some Stevie. Good. Nice.
Wait a minute, baby.
Wait. Hold on. So Jeff, do you say, you dirty wabbit?
Oh gosh,
Sorry.
the Stevie Nicks goat. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Mark, my whole journey started with KTVA when I found my old school report. Mark has a potential, but does not apply. Whoa, wait, let's read this
That's
one
what
again.
they said about me in school.
I love that. My whole journey started with KTVA. This is supposed to be about Sarah, guys, so bring in some Sarah comments. Started with KTVA when I found my old school report. Mark has potential, but does not apply himself. I dropped out of school, but now at 46, I'm all in, never too late.
That's
You are absolutely right. You're never too late.
Absolutely.
Ruben, Ken, people say singing should be stress-free. Do you believe that's true?
That's not true, unfortunately.
Exactly.
I wish
Tell me
it was.
your thoughts on that. Go ahead.
Well, any time that you're putting yourself out on the table, it's scary. I mean, it can be terrifying at first. But if you really love it.
But he said stress-free. So let's talk
it.
about the stress of the voice and on the voice. How does that work?
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. I mean, there's many aspects of stress in singing. But yeah, as far as the voice goes, ideally it should be stress-free and painless if you're doing it right. I think if there's stress in your singing, you're probably not doing it right. Right?
Well, there's two parts to that. The first part is the more we train, as with any sport, and I've said this analogy a million times, I'm going to say it 1,000,001, because guys, I really want you to drive this home with you. Lionel Messi is one of my all-time favorite soccer players. And guys, I know you that heard of this analogy, he's not going to use this again. Yes, I am going to use it again, because it's applicable to anything. When Lionel Messi goes to goal, is his body stressed? His body is stressed beyond belief. But he's strained and conditioned himself in such a way that he's been able to manage away that stress and collect the ball, take on a couple players, lay it off to someone else, receive the ball, go to goal and score. And so what we do is, it's not that it's stress-free, it's that we are... like I said, we're vocal athletes.
Yeah,
We've
athletes.
conditioned ourselves to the point where, made it through that one, right?
And it becomes easier. And when you start feeling it becoming easier, like, oh my gosh, I'm making strides. It's working. All my hard work's paying off. Because you'll start singing things that were really, really challenging, or maybe that you couldn't even sing, like we did All By Myself this week, the Celine Dion version. And I don't know if I'm supposed to, let the cat out of the bag here, but we did that song. And that's a song that I don't know if I would have been able to sing a year ago, because it's really, really hard. It has a huge, long held out high note at the end. And I've just been working on it, and it just started getting easier and easier. I mean, it took time, but man, what a great feeling that is. And that's when you know that the muscles are being conditioned and things are starting to come together. So yeah, we are athletes, absolutely.
So you work up a verse, then you work up a verse and a chorus, a verse, a chorus, a verse, and before you know it, you're able to finish a song. Then you do that over 10 songs, and you're able to finish a whole live set. And in her case, how long do you sing in Mastro's?
Oh my gosh, 4 or 5 hours.
A night.
Yeah, it's crazy.
4 to 5 hours a night.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So how then do you have to pace yourself?
I just have to make sure I'm using really good technique. I have to stay hydrated. I don't, sing songs that are too many songs that are too high back to back. And I only do really hard songs if somebody's tipping really well.
Money's a motivator. Okay, this is kind of an interesting question here. His name is Philippe. Philippe says, Sarah, Ken, this vulnerability issue is kind of disturbing. Could we agree on singing for people to feel good and share a concept of beauty? ? What is so inspiring about vulnerability? Thanks so much. Well, let me start and then you can finish. First off, the most moving songs to me are not just the happy clappies. And I know I've used this analogy, but I want to use it again, okay? One of the most moving music videos I've ever seen in my life is Johnny Cash's Hurt. Okay? Now, I really want to challenge you guys, and I'll put this again in the description. I know I've mentioned this before, but it's such a great example here, is that it's a Trent Reznor song, Nine Inch Nails song, that was, that he internalized and reinterpreted and represented. And that song is very disturbing. And it's his life story. Now, there is triumph in it. There's, we know where he went. He became a Christian, and he realized that, kind of like in the words of Solomon, that everything it turns to dust, and what's the point in living? I've denied myself no pleasure, and basically, and then he gives at the end a dissertation on what the point to life is, right? And that's a really interesting thing, because that in Ecclesiastics and some other books that do the same, this is kind of what Johnny Cash did for his life. So, Philippe, for me, I love the feel-good songs and vulnerability feel-good songs, but I also love the fact that Johnny Cash didn't hide from us his heart in sharing his life story. So that would be my comment. Did you want to contribute to that?
Yeah, I think I have something to add to that. And for me, when I talk about being vulnerable as a singer and as an artist, I think it also ties in kind of with embracing what is unique about you, even your imperfections, and just... everybody has something inside of them that is so unique. Everybody has such a unique viewpoint, and everybody's been through something different in their life. No two people are the same. And it's about using what you have, the experiences that you have inside of you, the feelings that you have about certain things, and not being afraid to let them out, as opposed to taking, one of your idols and being like, okay, I want to be just like my idol. I want to sing like them. I want to be that style. I want to dress like them. It's about taking what is special and unique about you and really letting that shine and letting that out. And also just allowing yourself to be open to your audience and to connect with them. And it doesn't even mean, you can take, you have singers like somebody like Jeff Buckley or Kurt Cobain, who are really probably super shy people, in their personal life, but they were able to express themselves and be vulnerable in a way that really resonated with people. Because it's kind of like when you have a conversation with somebody, if you make small talk with somebody, it's kind of boring, but when you really get into the meat of life and people start sharing their real opinions on things, even if you don't agree, it's stimulating, it's interesting, it brings you alive, it gives you energy, and I think that's what it's about. It's just sharing your authenticness and your authenticity and your personal take on everything.
And you could also write, it's all about that bass, no treble. Come on, that S ain't real, now make it stop, right? She writes a song about, her figure and makes a #1 single out of it and makes fun of, edited perfection, right? So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So next one, Shining. How long did you practice each day when you started KTVA? Oh, that's a good question. Well, you practice a lot.
Yeah, probably 5 days a week.
Yeah, 5 days a week.
About 5 days a week.
For how long a day? At least an hour.
At least an hour, sometimes 2.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I started out. And then I kind of took a break for a while and felt the wrath of taking a break from KTVA, started having vocal issues, started getting pre-nodules from not doing my vocal exercises and not warming up. So I started doing them again. And yeah, it's always 5 days a week for me for at least an hour.
That's cool.
Yeah.
By the way, interesting too. So, doing a regimen that helps you, stopping and going, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble because I no longer have the stamina and have built up this muscle memory and muscle strength and whatnot to accomplish what I'm setting out to do. So, Paul, is there any special vocal exercises you do pre-gig?
Yeah, I just warm up. I do lip burbles, sirens, the la. I do the la for sure before I perform. It's just like exercising. You don't want to go do, a 10K without warming up. You have to warm up your muscles and get the blood flowing and stuff. So yeah, I do just easy, gentle warm-ups, unless I'm doing a really hard song, and then I'll work my full range.
Now let me clarify this because of the kind of singing that she does. So we've discussed this way back in the day. Because she sings for 4 hours, or when she's talking about being a triathlon or whatever, triathletes don't that morning get up and go run a mile. They don't do it. They warm up, they stretch this, that, because they're going for a long haul, long term. So because she's singing for that long, her, and I'm suspecting because this happens for me all the time, that even during the singing process of while she's performing, that becomes a warm up, song 2, song 3, song 4, song 5. So by the time song 4, 5, 6 roll around, you're in voice and you can take on, the other 3 hours.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
So anyway, that's Isaiah. I'm 26-year-old. What is the amount of time you recommend? We already just discussed this. Next one is Ken. Yeah, become part of my daily routine. I'm 52 and have just become a singer-performer before I learned to sing properly. Can't get enough of your knowledge. Thank you. You're welcome, dude. Thank you for being grateful. Michael, I sing in the car to Led Zeppelin songs on the radio. My horrible technique made me damage my left, sternocleidomastoid. Okay, so there's a couple things about this. I actually have, and I'm going to announce this soon, something that's going to help with this. I can't announce it yet because it's going to drop here in a few weeks. Please stay tuned to my YouTube channel and my website for a program that I have that's going to directly deal with stuff like this. So anyway, guys, I didn't want to belabor this, but what I did want to say is that everyone has a different starting point. And in Sarah's case, she had some talent. She had a lot of talent inside. She had a lot of tenacity. She was willing to work at it. Some people are just starting from scratch. They have never sung before and they want to sing. Some people think, well, where should I start in your course, Ken? I'm an advanced singer and I really only want to get this part out of your course. Well, actually, what I teach is the foundation first. And without that, like I said, you're putting a curtain rod on a wall that doesn't exist. So you really have to get the foundation, and you got the pillars of singing, put all those up, and then start building your rooms to the house. And this is how you become successful at singing. So with that said, gang, I want to thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for my lovely Sarah Loera for joining us.
Had a great time.
And you're going to be singing a lot. We did a lot of really cool stuff. If you got more comments, maybe what you could do, and I can ask Sarah if you'll please do this, go ahead and post them in the subject line, and then or not subject, but in the comment section, and then Sarah will bip over there and answer some of your questions as well.
Sure.
And we love doing this, guys. That's why we're here. We're here to inspire you and share our story with you. And please don't think for a minute that we just woke up one day and just great notes came out of our mouth. To this day, I still warm up. I still work it. Okay. With that said, God bless you, gang, and until next time, peace.
Peace. Bye, guys.
Ciao.